We're also online for you on your socials, The Stansbury Show. And you can text your studio at 330-450-7625, quickly becoming the most popular way to communicate with the program. There's also the microphone talkback button if you happen to listen live on iHeartRadio. And today is Tuesday, so at 9 a.m. we will give you New Turd Tuesday. Now, I know how I'm going to vote the first artist out because historically I've never been a fan. I won't deny there's some talent in there. Doesn't make anything I enjoy. Just don't like it. It's okay. I'm allowed to not like things. You dislike plenty of things. This is one of those things I dislike. Her name, Gwen Stefani. Somebody else's is the name of this. New Turd Tuesday again, Gwen Stefani, Willie Nelson, and Green Day. Also today, I have Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory tickets to get passed out. We'll do that. The number you need, 330-450-7625. Again, you can text that number throughout the program. Also, we're going to try to find out, is it possible that life could actually be more difficult for pretty people? Well, we're going to find out a little later in the program. Also, tomorrow, Netflix dropping a documentary on the one and only Vince McMahon. So today we're going to take a look at that documentary. Vince already put a statement out last night about it. He is definitely feeling the water temperature get turned up here a little bit. He's upset about this, claiming so, says, well, I don't really regret taking part in it, but he's not necessarily in love with what you're about to see. That coming up tomorrow with Netflix. We'll also take a look at the word documentary and what I thought it meant when it started out, and what I think it currently means, and what we think it should mean. Because I think I've said this before. We're making movies, calling them documentaries so people feel smarter on their couch when they're watching them. I know, I'm falling for it too. I'm falling for it too. But I believe this is what's happening. So who can we trust when a documentary gets made? We trust the person at the center of the subject? Well, I don't know. They have a vested interest to lie to you to protect themselves. Do you trust the person maybe who's making the film? I don't know. Do you know every agenda they have? Did they get screwed over by Vince McMahon somewhere along the way in a just situation? Now they're just looking to sling some mud. Like, who do you believe? So we'll take a look at some documentary situations. We'll do that here this morning on the Stansbury Show.
Here's what's next on the Stansbury Show.
Okay, so most of you are married. The data tells me. Are in-laws fighting as much as people make believe that they are in movies and television and the like? And if you are, what are the arguments y'all are having? Hope I have those answers. We'll break that down. We'll do that next here on Rock 106.9.
The Stansbury Show.
I've heard many a loon, and if there ever was a loon, that is a loon.
On Rock 106.9.
Around 7:45 this morning, I'll get you into the haunted schoolhouse and laboratory. Yeah, it's that season already. Oh, and Thursday. Sonic Temple Thursday's here. Get you into that show. Sure, people want to go to that now that we found out Metallica headlining Friday and Sunday. Well, if movies and television are to be believed, you guys can't stop bickering amongst your in-laws and all. I can believe it, right? You know one another well, you love one another, it's family, you can kind of let off the steam. You never hurt anybody as much as you do the ones who are close to you, right? Maybe related and the like, and through family and through marriage and what have you. Now, I've never been married, everybody knows this, or at least most of you would. I've dealt with plenty of girlfriends' families and like things like that while being in relationships. I will admit before we wade into this a little bit, it is going to be different. This is one of those things about relationships that, you know, how you interact with the family and what you'll say, what you won't, where you'll stick up for your arguments, where you'll back down, that will change when rings are exchanged in marriage, and we've been together 15 years, and that will make it different. I won't deny it. A survey was done by Talker Research, and it looked at the things that you're arguing with your in-laws the most. There's no reason to tease it. We know politics is going to be the number one thing. They say, yeah, it's for sure, it's the number one thing. Now, I'm going to actually throw this out there, and I'm willing to bet you're going to agree. It was a survey. I actually don't think this is the number one thing people argue about amongst their in-laws. I think everybody knows it's the answer, kind of, and it does come up at Thanksgiving, and we wish it would less. But when you're asked about this, I think it's one of those things that pops to the front of your mind, maybe more than it's actually the reality of what's happening in the living room when you and the in-laws are together. That might be a lot of optimism out of me there, who's normally a pessimist. But I'm not sure that's the reality of this situation. When I read that last night, I thought to myself, okay, well, all right, if I'm wrong and this is true, it's like, well, okay, well, I could see it. It's not necessarily the craziest thing I've ever heard. Because, again, it is kind of the standard. It's the answer we kind of expect everybody to say when it comes to it. You know? So, all right, I can't be shocked by it. You know, I used to maybe would say things like this after we talked about a stat like that. Oh, how sad is it you're together for Christmas? You're together for Thanksgiving. We're supposed to be talking about what we're thankful for. You guys are screaming at each other over, you know? People are like, yeah, you're come together in a family and, you know, remember what we're here for and the love and the price and whatever. I actually may see it differently now. We spend so much time arguing these things that I will admit politics matters because it matters. How the country runs, I think, matters, right? Okay, fair. Right? We spend so much time now arguing these things out. with people you'll never meet because they're states away and it's comment sections and maybe you don't do it and maybe, you know what I mean? And okay, but you know society as a whole, this is going on. This is happening, right? That now that's so common that I almost think to myself, God, maybe we should actually make it the rule where it's like, dude, keep it to the family, you know, the people you love, keep it there. Scream, you know, we're not going back and make it great again. Yeah, just yell it across the Thanksgiving table. Leave it out the comment sections, right? Keep it to the people that you love. I would rather discuss those things. I guess if we're going to use the word argument, I don't want that on Thanksgiving or Christmas or even to do that with family members or even the in-laws, which you would have to consider family members, right? You're married, you got, you know what I mean? That is your family. I don't want that. But if I were going to discuss those things, well, I think it would be a discussion I cared about more when it's involving people I know, care about, respect their other opinions. So I know I'm like, all right, I could maybe see how you could get here from here to here. I don't have to hate you for it. I can get in the car after we leave and look at my wife and go, oh my God, I love you. But your sister's husband is a moron, boo. Did you not see? Like, does he not know? No, but they said that doesn't even happen anymore. That's not what's going on, right? And then you kind of do it on the way home because you like those people. And you did have, you know, a Secret Santa 10 minutes ago, right? So maybe you don't kind of slit each other's throat over who the president is going to be. Because those conversations have gotten so heated online between strangers, I think I moved off my position of back in the day, like, oh, you're getting together with your family, you're arguing about this stuff. It's like, well, it does matter. And at least you're discussing it with people who you do actually give a damn about, or can pretend to for 2 weeks out of the year, right? What are some other things you guys are on? How you're handling your dispute with your, like, spouse. Right, so the in-laws, they've seen you fight now. You're playing cards, Friday, everybody worked long, right? And you're on edge. You two have been at it. Kind of over, like, the last, like, 72 hours, right? Little jab here, little jab there. Well, no, I was just kind of saying, right? And, like, everybody kind of knows, yeah, what you were doing. And now Friday night, it's boiled over at the in-laws' house. Their family, screw it, off come the mask. I hate you too, man. Like, you know, and now they've seen it. And so they're going to weigh in. Now, they're going to come into that with bias, right? One of you is their kid. Who do you think is more? They think is more right. Or maybe you're the screw up out of 4 children. And they're looking at you like, are you, Bradley, are you kidding me here? Like, how many bad women did we see? Now, all of a sudden, here comes Lisa. She's great. The best you're ever going to do. Knocked it out of the park. Just stick your mitt out and catch it, you moron. You did it. So just pipe down. Let her have it. Yeah, let her have it. Happy wife, happy life, right? Everybody says it. Said every sad guy in the mall ever. Yeah. They're going to come into that, so I could see that being one of those arguments people are going to have amongst one another. What is this one here? Oh, lifestyle choices. I wonder what that means. Now, you think gender or sexuality when you hear that term now. That's here later in the survey. So I wonder what that would mean. They say about 3% of the time. Gender or sexuality. My guess that would be in the parenting department, right? I feel like less people are going to the in-laws and be like, all right, so we got to tell you, Bradley is now Belinda, right? Like, I feel like that's happening. It's happening. I feel like that's happening less than my child is, which brings up an interesting conversation about said issue. But, you know, but I feel like that's where that's going to come up. And parenting issues between in-laws, yeah, that's clearly on this list. I'm sure how you raise your children has absolutely come up with your in-laws. Or, if it hasn't, what's more likely? Somebody bit their tongue along the way somewhere? Yeah. I saw that one come full circle in my family. My mom's mother liked to meddle. My brother was a little problematic. A lot of you have heard some stories. So David, in and out of the house, you're kicked out, blah, blah, blah. Into grandma's house you go, kind of one of those. And grandma kind of liked being mom 2-0. She did. She kind of liked it. And because she kind of liked it, was critical about what my mom was doing when my mother was right, but grandma kind of wanted to be mom 2.0. And so and then years later, here my brother is raising a kid. my mom living with them. And my mom, there was a time where she overstepped. It happens. Best intentions, you know what I mean, right? But it can happen. And she kind of overstepped. She got a little too critical. My brother and his wife were right. And my mom enjoyed kind of being mom 2.0 as Gammy, right? And so next thing you know, we kind of had to sit her down and be like, remember when Betty did this to you? Now, if you don't stop, we're going to start calling you Betty. And there's no man alive who doesn't know that rule. You want to piss a woman off? Call her her mother. God damn it, the Stansberry Show.
It's a medicinal fact that rum gets a man's heart started in the morning.
On